Let's talk about the testing ongoing. When did this testing start, and how long will it be for?
So we've started to test earnestly with passengers at least. I think the first week in February, or I think maybe the second. Anyway, we've done it for over 6 weeks now.
Okay.
And part of what we must do in the testing that will allow us to eventually get to commercial passenger operations is to ensure that our infrastructure, both the rolling or the operational infrastructure and the fixed infrastructure, think well and everything is working well. And as part of the safety requirements, before you get into operations as well, we have a responsibility to have done nothing less than 3,000 kilometers of rail testing. And that's what we're doing now. We're hoping that by the end of April, we will review our position from the safety standard requirements, the operational standard requirements, and what we've done, and see how we can move ourselves forward. So from sort of like May, we should be looking at the possibility of at least easing ourselves into full-time commercial operations. Maybe not deploy all of what we can just to ensure that we meet that system, but we're working quickly towards that position.
Indeed. Now, I'm going to stay on this testing so that our people can have the right context as to what you mean when you say you're testing. So, do you test with passengers that you pick at random, or are invited passengers on board, or no passengers at all?
So, when we started without passengers. Now we're doing with passengers. And when we started with passengers, we wrote to organizations, schools, universities, churches, mosques. We invited market women and market men, all those sorts of sectors, various sectors. We also invited corporate bodies for the testing. After that, we put out a LAMATA info email address, and we asked Nigerians to register their interest to go on so that was the second phase of the testing, where we sort of asked any Nigerian that had an interest in taking a test ride with us to just respond or put an email into that. And what we've done from there is to regularly pick from the numbers of people who have expressed interest. And that we're still doing. We stopped that for a while, but we stopped that I think last week, but we resumed it now to ensure we meet this kilometer mileage that we have to sort of mandatorily ensure that we meet before we can really and truly go into commercial operations. So for us, we've taken hordes of school children. We've taken from primary school all the way to tertiary institutions, University of Lagos. LASU students have come. We've taken engineering societies, Association of Professional Women Engineers have come, Nigerian Society of Engineers have come, the council, not current, but their consulting bodies have also come. So we have tried to ensure that we encapsulate the wider population of Lagos to try and get them into the system, get them familiarized with what we're doing, and ensure that we sensitize as many people as possible. And what we found most useful is that email, that a lot of people have come through that, and we picked them up. And they've come to the station, and they've gone on the ride, and they've just gone. So at least regular Nigerians have the opportunity without us having to invite them. We've had a number of people, and that has really been useful, the fact that we've not only had the students have been really excited, especially the younger ones. We've had primary school children, we've had secondary school children who have come in their numbers on the train rides. And, you know, it's really been good, and it's been fantastic watching Nigerians embrace what is coming.
Let's talk about what is coming. I understand this project is in phases. Could you explain the phase one and the other phases, if possible, and where work is currently right now on phase one? Immediately the testing, is it that immediately testings are done and we're done with the testing? We go full commercial on phase one, or we have to wait for phase two before we can go full commercial on phase one?
Okay, so phase one, which we've done, which is from Marina to Mile 2, and we have Marina National Theatre, Igamu, Alaba, and Mile 2 as the stations that have been completed. Once testing is done, we will roll into commercial operations, and that was always the plan. And it's normal, it's usual in real infrastructure development or rail system development that you will do them in phases and ensure that you can at least operate the first phase whilst you go into construction of the second. So to that end, we have adequacy of infrastructure to support operations for the first phase, and that is what will happen. Once we're done with testing, we will begin to pick passengers, commercial passengers, and now Nigerians will have to pay to get on the service. The second phase of it is that which goes from Alakija all the way to Okukumaiko. And that's, so the first phase is about 13 kilometers, and the second phase is about the same, 14 kilometers actually, because it's a 27-kilometer rail line. So the second phase, at the time that we did the commissioning, Mr. Governor actually signed the contract for the second phase of the Blue Line. So the vision is that in the next, with all the preparatory work that's gone on, they've done some clearing. That phase will also start this year. The second phase of the Blue Line will also start this year. And that's it.
I'm gonna. You said something earlier that I noted down before the start of the show, and that's pricing. What is it gonna be? The pricing. What is it gonna be like? Do you have something that you can share on that?
So what we expect is that we've done a lot of surveys. We've done market surveys. We've looked at where we are in terms of public transportation in Lagos now. We've also had to pragmatically look at cost of operation. And all of that, we are getting the results of all of our surveys, and we're at the point where by the end of this month, we will be able to come to a definitive place as to what the cost of the train journey or the ride will be from at least from Marina to Mile 2. By the end of April, we will make that public. Because right now the consultants are doing all the permutations and combinations to be certain that we have a price that is pocket friendly for Lagosians, but also ensure that the operation will be fully funded and actually would be able to maintain and operate the system. What we don't expect is this to be hugely different from whatever Lagosians are paying right now for that journey, i.e. between between Marina and Mile 2.
But engineer, please let's talk about the railway line. What's the update on that, and what axis of Lagos will that pass through?
Okay, so the red line is the second line that Lagos State is currently through LAMATA implementing. And what we must say about this one is that on the red line we have collaboration. So the red line will travel along the existing Lagos-Ibadan rail line that is built, and it will go from Agbado, which is actually a suburb in Ogun State, all the way to Oyingbo for us. It's a 38-kilometer rail line, and yet again, Lagos is building it in phases. So the first phase of the red line will go from Agbado, like I said, to Oyingbo. The full length of it will go all the way to Marina. So for the red line, we have 8 stations that's being built by the state. We have Agbado, Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, and Oyingbo. What to note with this one is that it's actually a rail system that interfaces or integrates with the Lagos-Ibadan rail line. So if you're coming from Ibadan and you want to enter Lagos or even Ogun State, you alight at Agege, which is our interchange station. Okay. And from Agege, you'll then be able to access the Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, Yaba, and Oyingbo train stations. What this does is it gives easy access for those who are coming from that axis into Lagos. And what we can see that will bring to us will be a huge relief for traffic in that axis. That axis of Lagos is hugely congested, And this rail system will go a long way in ensuring that we reduce congestion. The vision for the state is to have an integrated intermodal transport system and the ability to have all of these stations, for instance, in Agege, in Ikeja, in Oshodi, we interface with bus systems. So when you get off a train system, you can continue your journey with the buses and move on. We have the same on the Blue Line. So for Lagos, Lagos is well planned when it comes to transportation. We have started to look at it, and from that perspective, we will say that the strategic transport master plan that we have speaks to this intermodal integration that I'm talking about, because really, literally all of the stations, we have a good level of connectivity with the buses, and in some of them, we have connectivity with the water transportation as well. And the vision is to make it possible for you in Lagos to use public transport without the need for your vehicles. And what that means then is that we all then have choices. And the whole perspective of living and being comfortable to move from one place to the other is that you have choices, you have options. And the one option that the state is aiming to give you is the option to not sit in traffic, but to use public transportation.
We've seen the other rail services where people vandalize the track and all of that, category infrastructure. We've seen them being caught as well. In some instances, we've seen them, to have gotten away with their criminal activities. What's the plan like to secure this massive infrastructure that we've been talking about?
Okay, so thank you for that question. One thing I say about security is that with regards to security, you can constantly update your system and you constantly update your position based on things that are happening around you. So for the Blue Line and indeed the Red Line, when it does come on stream, what we have are CCTV cameras all along our tracks, all within our stations. We have control rooms that allow us to see what's happening, that will be manned in every station. And we have a central control room that will see all of the stations as well as the tracks. We will have some detection system as you enter into the train station, but you won't notice it because the system would be most unintrusive. It wouldn't be like what you have with the airport, for instance, where you have to scan yourself and scan your baggage, because this is a metro system. A metro system must allow passengers to move and to process as many passengers as possible in a minute, because the whole vision is to move people quickly. But we have devised a system that allows you to move as you move into the train station, you would have been scanned without you being aware of it. And if there's a challenge, our man guards on the train stations will approach you and have conversations with you. Now, part of what we will also have is that we're working very closely with Lagos State Neighborhood Watch, and we will also work with the Lagos State Task Force to ensure that we're able to apprehend anybody who has committed an offense on our systems. But also with the Lagos State Neighborhood Watch, what we're trying to do is to have people travel on our system without being noticed, with the mindset that when you travel amongst the passengers, you get a feel for what is going on. You can probably sense somebody is acting a bit dodgily or whatever. So there's so many things that we have to keep doing. And honestly, we can never say that we've done all of what we need to do. We will constantly review our security position to ensure that we're doing the best we can to ensure the security of life as well as the infrastructure that we've implemented. One of the things that we've learned is you mentioned the tracks being cut. So what we are doing is installing a BRD system, a broken rail detection system, that allows you to know if there is a portion of your track that's been cut. It sends a signal to the train driver, and the train driver will actually stop before it gets there. What that will do is, whilst I cannot, if for whatever reason I've had an intrusion into my infrastructure and they've actually managed against all of the security systems that I have to cut my train or my track, I will ensure that I do not get a derailment. So you continue to work, and we will continue to look at and review the security system on a regular basis to ensure the safety of people and the infrastructure.